morning. Welcome to episode 188 of Fibertown. It's the 14th of April, 2017, and I'm here in my kitchen. There is a bit of bird song. It's not super early, so it's starting to tone down a bit, but I hope you can hear the birds twittering outside. It's springtime here in the DC area, and let's chat about woolly things. Alice just walked in. She's my co-host. My name is Emily, and you can find me as Chain of Fools on Ravelry and Fibertown with an RE on Instagram. So that's the introduction, folks. You've probably been here before. If you're brand new, thank you for chatting a while, and I hope you have some nice crafting time while we discuss what's up in my crafting life. So I have an FO, I have works in progress, I have spinning, sewing, and I have a small acquisition. I think it's going to be a short-ish show, so let's get started. I have a recommendation first about a podcast that I've recently discovered, and this is Treehouse Knits. And of course now I'm blanking on her actual real-life name, but I think she's from the Midwest, pardon me, and she's got a great podcast, really intelligent podcast. Sorry, pollen. And interesting makes. And I highly recommend you check her out on YouTube. Treehouse Knits. It's one of those days. I was outside earlier. You can see the pollen in the air. In fact, I might have to get up and close the door. Goodness, I'm so sorry. I've been fine till just now, till I started talking. So while I clear my throat, let me distract you with this face. Yeah, you might notice one of my FOs this week matches her. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. So I do, as I said, have an FO, and that is another Bousta beanie. Finish your dinner. Another Bousta beanie. This one is knit entirely out of Cornish tin, and it's huge. I did a tubular cast on. All the ends are still not dealt with, but it has been washed. So I'll probably just knot these and cut them a little shorter so they don't pop out. As I said, a tubular cast on for the very first time, which I really like a lot. You get that very clean, almost magical edge on a ribbing. And yeah, so the gray was Cornish Tin 1, which is a heavier, excuse me, I think a heavier yarn than the Cornish Tin 2. And the Cornish Tin 2 is Wheel Kitty Orange and Dulcoth Turquoise. And I've just done who knows what to my hair. It's a slouch. I ended up doing the color work on US 6s. That's a 4mm needle, which is, not at all what is recommended. So I've now made two Bousta beanies, or Bousta, I don't know how you say it. And the first one was tiny, and this one is huge. I even put it in the dryer a bit when it was wet to shrink it up. I might give it to my dad for Father's Day and his birthday, because they're often at the same time. I don't know. I might love it too much, even though it's big. But he is an outdoorsman. He is constantly outside in the winter. He has an old Noro hat that I knit him years ago. And he tends to wear it. It's a beanie. I think it slips up. I think it's ribbed. And it's before I really understood that a rib hat can really kind of creep up on your head. So I often see him wearing it kind of like this. But I also think that traps some heat. You know what? That might be good. And probably the slouch traps heat too. But isn't it cute? Yeah. Springtime in DC is really bad. If you're coming to Maryland Sheep and Wool, I hope you've started your allergy med regimen already to get on top of it, because it's usually pretty bad. All right, so works in progress. I have finished one of my car socks, and this is a project that lives in my car. I can't even believe it's in my house right now. It is an opal yarn, and isn't it fun? The ball band is in the car. It's on the floor somewhere. in the back seat. And I brought it in because I had to Kitchener it. So I Kitchenered the toe, and I've been knitting this on 9-inch circulars, Haya circulars. And I did the toe decreases on the 9-inch circular, and at one point found myself magic looping. And was kind of like, wow, it's possible to magic loop on a 9-inch circular. It's not fun, but it's doable. Anyway, the second is cast on and should go back in the car. It, of course, gets knit. It's in my car, so it only gets touched when I'm sitting in traffic, like a traffic jam, or when I'm at red lights, or when I'm waiting in a pickup line somewhere, or if I go out without my knitting. It's just emergency knitting. Lest you judge me. It's fine, judge me. So the other sock, I also have another sock done. And that is the Grand Central sock out of Pixie Dust from Queen City Yarns. Oh, super fun to knit, you guys. Okay, so there's the stockinette. And these are both my usual sock recipe, which I'm sure you've heard about before if you are not new. If you're new, I do a riverbed gusset. So it's a gusset on the bottom of the heel. It super snugs up like under your heel. It's good. I think it's good for people with high arches, but really it's good for anyone. Christy Payne, who did the Breaking Heart sock, that was the first place where I encountered this heel, and it's a great heel. I've since seen it being taught in sock classes as the riverbed gusset or riverbed heel. It's just a regular heel flap turn, and then you do your decreases down here. Now the pattern is, as I said, the Grand Central Socks by Mina Phillip, and it's a really fun stitch pattern. Can you see that? And this is from her New York sock collection. So fun yarn, fun pattern, very cute. The second one has been cast on. It's easy to memorize the sock pattern. It's engaging. I do highly recommend it. As I said, it's Queen City yarn, and their Noda base, and this is the Pixie Dust colorway. That's more accurate. It's even more green than this. Yeah. Socks. So technically I've already finished a pair of socks this month, but they don't match. That's not it. I have another work in progress. It's my Camaro sweater, guys. So I plowed ahead with this, as I said I was going to. And I finished the body down to the ribbing. So here's the front. This is oversized. This is going to have, oops, there goes my pen. This is going to have quite a bit of positive ease. This is Ross Farm Shetland in the yoke. 4 different colors, aren't they beautiful? And then Patton's Classic Wool, Classic Wool. It's just their 100% wool. And I've done some kind of wonky decreases. Like, I didn't know what I still have feelings about this sweater. One thing that's really weird is that the short rows came all the way into the front, and you definitely can see where the wraps were. Can you see those? All along this line and the other side as well. Yeah, it made the back longer. I think I would have done it differently. Maybe I should have done it differently. You know, I'm the boss of my sweater knitting, but I didn't. And it's a deep V-neck. So I've started the ribbing. And I've done, as I said, some kind of weird decreases. Like, I don't know, it's going to be an interesting sweater. And I think it's going to be a more of around the house kind of like casual sweater rather than a showy sweater. Now the other thing that I talked about was the joins here where I striped. And I was going for a very random Missoni inspired stripe look. I don't like how it turned out, but impossible to do jogless stripes. And in fact, I wonder how Missoni does it. I'm sure they knit flat, of course. They knit flat and seam it. And, yeah. But I I was thinking of doing like a crochet chain through here, maybe in the black, and someone else, thank you for commenting on YouTube, mentioned, you know, that Elizabeth Zimmerman often did faux seams. So I might even do a faux seam on each side too and make it a design feature. And that would take care of some of this like extra weirdness under the armpit where I think I didn't start my decreases soon enough. So yeah, I'm doing the ribbing on the bottom. I'm gonna need another ball of patterns for the sleeves, and then we'll see how it looks. All right, spinning. I've started a fleece spin, and my hair, why do I even bother? A fleece spin, this was a purchase at Maryland Sheep and Wool last year. This is a Coopworth cross from a farm in Luray, Virginia. I have about 3 ounces, there's a little bit more in my wheel still, of singles. I put them on these storage bobbins with my bobbin winder, and I think I might 2-ply it. I usually 3-ply my sweater yarns. We'll see. I'll sample, see what I think. What else have I been spinning? That's really it. It's been a bit of a hiatus from my wheel, just like maybe 2 weeks, which is quite a hiatus for me, but it's good to be back, and I think this fleece spin will go quickly. So, on to sewing. I made a cowl. I made this morning. I have some double gauze. It's French bulldogs, most likely, but, you know, I think this one especially. It looks like a Boston Terrier, and inexplicably eyeglasses, as well as some French phrases. So this was a yard. I folded it in half vertically, seamed it down the long edge, put the 2 small ends together, and just did sort of a double seam like this. It's really soft, cute, neutral fabric. I think it's a nice spring cowl. And what was I going to say? Train of thought, leaving the station. Oh, so it's a yard. Had I known I was going to make it into a cowl, I did not have that intention when I bought it. I would have gotten 2 yards and made it longer so I could have looped it. But I think that, you know, you could tie it in a cute knot, snug it up around your neck, let it hang loose. It's kind of adorable. Yeah. So I'm also wearing my breathing space out of Tamar and Hedgehog Fibers, which is, it's gotten a ton of wear. It's such a great sweater. Tamar is such a great yarn. Love, love, love. So, in other bits of sewing, I made some pants for my daughter. I bought the pattern, the Luna pants made by Ray, and I completely botched them. Okay, they're not quite finished. They're out of sort of this, I don't know what this fabric is. It's not as royal blue as it looks on screen. Ooh, getting washed out by it. But look it up, Made by Ray Luna pants. They have an elastic waist and then elastic at the ankles too. And it's a sort of kind of like a harem pant, but not with that much extra fabric. She loves them. I will make them again, and I will make some for myself, but I will use her sew-along tips because, yeah, I botched a bunch of the parts of this. This has just been, it's such a fail. The waistband's horrible. I could only put 1 pocket in it because I cut the pieces out wrong. When you make the pant legs, the way the pattern will describe how to lay out your pattern pieces on the fabric to cut them. And it said, be sure to make mirror images of the pants. And I thought, well, this fabric doesn't really have a right side and a wrong side. So I'll just cut them as it shows, with the fabric folded, and that should be fine. No, it was not fine. The only way I could make this work was to leave out a pocket on one side, and then I was able to make things go, the magic of the right side, wrong side, and the certain pieces lining up. So next time I will lay, the only things that really have to be cut on the fold are the oh gosh, what's it called? The waistband, the waistbands. So next time I will lay the fabric flat and cut a piece, cut a pant leg, flip it over, and cut the mirror image. Yeah. But it's not quite explicitly stated in the pattern as much as I would like it to be. It's stated, but it's not shown. And what is shown didn't work out for me. So I still don't know exactly where I went wrong. So caveat emptor, caveat sower. So yeah, I will try again. And I think it's a great design. So let me show you what bags I have made this week. You guys, these are so much fun. So I've made the Farm Friends bags, and some of these have been purchased already. These 3, it's like an Icelandic ram. Isn't he majestic? These 2 plus one of the sort of Clun Forest lamb, or not rams, sheep. So cute. Is going out in the mail. These are going out in the mail today. So yeah, boom. Now I also sewed another sheepy, another Clun Forest, as well as a horse. And these need to be pressed still. Sweet wee piggy. And these 2 hilarious goats. They are totes, just with the 1 strap, which I find is much easier for getting in and out of your bag. If you have 2 straps, you're like, you have to make sure they fall to each to their own side, but I prefer a tote with 1 strap, and they have a pouch bottom, and I think they are hilariously awesome and adorable. So yeah. Now interestingly, I used a muslin lining. I think these would be good for, you know, a small to a medium project on the small side perhaps, but I think they fit quite a bit. Now what's interesting is the muslin I used. So I had purchased from New World Textiles some pre-mordanted cotton, and it's mordanted, I think maybe the thread is pre-mordanted and then it's woven. And so when you dye the cotton, certain threads take more color than others. I think that's how they do it. I would imagine, that's my guess. So my friend Kimberly of Shop Teasel sent me some lac and some kutch. And yesterday I prepared the lac, which is an insect-based dye, natural dye. And I went to look for my cotton. And if you purchase one of those Farm Friend bags, you will get this special cotton as the lining, because I just grabbed it thinking it was my usual muslin. It was the special cotton. I had 1 bag lining set to the side that I hadn't put in a bag yet, so I grabbed it and I put it in the dye bath. And look! Look at how awesome that is. So this is the lac, and I made it more alkaline by adding some washing soda, which is just baking soda that is baked in a 400-degree oven for an hour and just stirred once or twice. Yeah, it makes a more alkaline dye bath, so that pushes the colors more towards plums and that sort of thing. So you can see I've got a little bit of speckling. The lac does not dissolve at all, so you have to make a dye bath and you have to strain it and get the powder out, but there was some excess powder in the pot that I hadn't cleaned out, apparently. So I really like this cotton. I wasn't sure if I would buy more or if I would use the dye bath that's still plenty potent to dye some fiber. I have some fin fiber that's sort of a buff color that I'm curious to see what would happen if I put it in this dye bath. So, but I do like this cotton quite a bit. Quite a bit. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know what kind of garment I would want because, I'm trying to think, which way is the selvage? Yeah, I think it would make horizontal stripes on me, and no. But it would be a lot of fun for some other applications. So I haven't washed it yet too. I might see how it washes. Anyway, that was from New World Textiles, and yeah, if you buy a Farm Friends bag, you'll get very special cotton inside. Oh, I made a Linden sweatshirt too, and I didn't bring it. It was the very loose black and white stripe knit. I think I showed it last week. Came out just fine. The stripes didn't match from the sleeves to the front, but it'll be, again, an around the house kind of thing, and it's really cozy, comfy. So the last thing I have today really is an acquisition, and I spent a lovely hour at Looped Yarn Works in DC. I do like going there quite a bit. They're good people. It's a fun store, lots of great stuff. There's always something new and interesting. So they had King fiber, and this is pronounced King. And this is a kid mohair, silk, hand-dyed in the UK. Oh my gosh. So this is called cuttlefish, which is a delicious fish if you've never had it. I plan to eat some in Spain because you can get delicious cuttlefish, also called sepia. Yes, that's where we get the ink and the color. So yeah, cuttlefish are very colorful, and I think I've been eyeing the Marled Magic. I think they're spectacular. So I think that this could go into one of those eventually. Speaking of mohair, I was at school yesterday with my husband and ran into some of my students from knit camp, and one of them, they didn't expect to see me because, you know, they're in school. I'm not a teacher there. So one of them looked up and saw me and just said, mohair. So well, it's pretty funny that she associates me with mohair. She's the one knitting a mohair hat. So one of the other ones over her spring break was in Scotland and Ireland, and she just, this tickles me. She said there were sheep for days, and she was able to, she I guess had a tour and said that the tour guide said that there were Cheviot and Scottish Blackface, and also Herdwick, which surprised the tour guide because they are not typically found in Scotland. They're found in the Lake District, Cumbria, in England. And yeah, so she was tickled that, you know, she had heard of Cheviot from me, or Cheviot. I think they say Cheviot in Scotland. And she was also very happy. I gave her 2 recommendations for yarn stores in Edinburgh. I've never been there, but Kathy's Knits is the one she ended up going to. And she said that everyone else in the knit camp had requested that she bring them Scottish wool. So she brought some new Lanark, sort of a heathered yarn that was used in the Weasley jumpers in the movie, the original Harry Potter movies. So like they're a copycat. You know, those were the. I think I need to stop talking. Those sweaters in the movies. Should I edit this? Probably, but I probably won't. Yeah, at any rate, so it's very fun to see my students sort of carrying on with the woolly interest. And that's what I would like to do today, but I have to paint the hallway. It hasn't been painted in going on 10 years, and in those 10 years there have been quite a few kids through there touching the walls. Why do children have to touch the walls? And their hands are dirty and sticky and they touch the walls. So that's what I've got to do. And then I'm going to be screaming at everyone for months not to touch the walls. Okay, folks. So you all take care till next time.